Hello, I'm Travis Wilson, and I'm here at Driftwood Music in the historic Frenchtown neighborhood of St. Charles. This local music shop offers products and services for any music lover to enjoy. So come with me as we check it out. I'm joined today by Colin Blair and Pete Buncher, owners of Driftwood Music here in Frenchtown. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for coming, Travis. We're glad to have you.
So as I look around your shop, I can tell that you have so many great products that you have here, so many great stories that you could probably tell us. Why don't you start with how you came to have a business here in St. Charles and Frenchtown?
Well, Colin and I have known each other for a very long time, 15, 16 years or so, and we used to work at a local music shop together, and we always kind of thought, you know what, we could do this too. So it was a long-term dream that eventually we both reached stages in our lives where it made sense, and we were ready to move forward with it. And so we were standing by the river, kind of getting a plan one day, just kind of standing on a big pile of driftwood, and we're thinking, all right, well, if we're going to do this, what are we going to call it? And so we just kind of looked down and I said, well, what about Driftwood Music? A lot of these instruments are made of wood, and what we do is we take them in and we restore them and we pass them along.
It drifts in and then eventually it drifts out.
You got it.
So why did St. Charles seem like a natural option for you to place your business, and why Frenchtown exactly?
Well, I've lived here in St. Charles for about 17 years, and we've watched the community grow in different places, different areas kind of pick up and become vibrant. And Frenchtown really seemed like it was the next opportunity for folks who, who are just looking to start something from scratch. There's such a nice feel down here, and it just seemed kind of ripe and ready. You know, a lot of great old buildings. It was a more affordable option, and just had to poke around for a little bit, and we found the perfect spot.
Excellent. So guys, tell me about some of the products that you have here. I know, Pete, that you actually make some of the products here on site. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, some of the instruments that we have on the wall here are custom built guitars designed by me and built by me.
So now, how did you come to have the skill of being a guitar manufacturer? I mean, that's really a unique skill.
Yeah, so I started early on taking apart my own guitars and trying to modify them to be what I wanted them to be. Eventually I started building parts for my own guitars, and that led to actually me working for a large guitar corporation in Nashville, Gibson Guitars. And so I worked in their custom historic and art division down in Nashville, Tennessee for a while, doing custom construction and design for them. And then I decided I wanted to kind of do it on my own. While I was working for them, I really grew to love historic guitars and vintage guitars, and learned how to do a lot of restoration work as well. So that's kind of where I get the design of a lot of my guitars, is based on the decade plus of repair and restorations that I've done.
Well, and that's something that's actually paid dividends here at your store. If I have the correct understanding, you actually have some guitars here that were owned by some of the stars that came out of Nashville, and also some historic guitars. Why don't you tell us a little bit about both of those aspects?
We kind of treasure hunt for these instruments, and one of our favorite things to do is to bring them back to life and make them play like they did back in the day, in the glory days. So for example, we have guitars as old as 1860 here, and maybe some from the golden era of acoustic guitars, some Martins from pre-war, or some Gibsons from post-war. Right up there we've got a 1951 Gibson Southern Jumbo. One of our favorite things to do is when someone has an instrument that's been in their family for a while. It's something that really kind of tugs on our hearts a little bit, is, oh, this is great grandma's old violin, or this is grandpa's old guitar, and they come and they bring it to us and say, oh, I want to play like they did. And so what they can do is they can take the instrument to us, we'll restore and repair things that need to be repaired, get it playable again. Then we also offer lessons as well, and so what we can do is then teach them how to play the instrument. And one of the fun things is we can teach them the songs that maybe they played. So if somebody played the fiddle in the 1920s, Colin can teach them 1920s fiddle tunes, or 1880s fiddle tunes, or they can come in and learn guitar songs from the 50s.
And he said you teach how to play the guitar, so that's one of the major services that's a part of your business. It's not just products, but it's also helping people to learn and appreciate these instruments, right?
Oh yeah, that's what we want them to do, especially in regards to what Pete had to say about family instruments. There's nothing better than bringing that old thing out of the attic. And we had a customer come in with it was from Holland. It was a Dutch-made instrument, very beautiful. Hadn't been played in years and years. And the gentleman was very excited that we could get it back together. And once we got it fixed, he expressed interest in wanting to learn to play. So I sat him down and taught him some Dutch tunes on that fiddle. Some stuff that that his grandmother would have played, or they would have played in that area where she was. So, and I think that just tying in the history and the family importance is. It's a great honor for us to have a part in that. We feel lucky that people will trust us with those instruments. So yeah, and we teach violin, guitar, banjo, mandolin, any of those instruments that might be tucked away in the attic. We can show people how to get around on.
Can you walk us through what the differences are with the products that you offer?
Absolutely. So primarily, we're an acoustic instrument shop. However, we're not limited to that. So we do offer some electric guitars, electric basses. We do have some amps, some pedals. We have a lot of acoustic guitars, large body, small body. So we also have vintage mandolins, violins, fiddles, banjos, octave mandolins, ukuleles, didgeridoos. We got all sorts of instruments here, ranging from slightly used to very used and vintage and antique.
All right, and you hit on violins and fiddles. What's the difference?
The way you play it.
Okay.
The price tag.
All right. All right. And if you're going to play in Texas, you got to have a fiddle in the band, right?
That's right.
Bingo.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what you do.
Now, you also have a lot of accessories that go with the products. So, Colin, walk us through what sort of accessories are available.
We have a wide variety of accessories for every type of instrumentalist. We've got a whole lot of different types of acoustic and electric guitar strings. We've got your basic stuff, and then we also have some higher end, American-made things. If people want a higher quality accessory, we have options for that. Picks, chords, all of your parts like knobs and tuner buttons and different things. If somebody wanted to hot rod their instrument, you could come in here and get an upgrade. Or if you need a vintage component for something, like if you're missing a vintage piece with your guitar, we can usually dig up some pretty rare pieces from all of our little drawers and boxes we've got. So just anything you need, we've got it.
That's fantastic. And not only do you offer the products and the lessons, but you guys actually invite people in to hear the music. You guys have had some sort of entertainment sessions here, right?
Mm-hmm. Pete and I both, we've been lucky through the years to make some great acquaintances with really phenomenal musicians, and luckily a lot of them also owe us some favors. So we can bring in some real high quality performances here in a small room. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing a show that's just real top-notch musicians in a small room where there's no bad seat. Everybody feels like they have some ownership of that evening in the event. And we have very, very wide and varied tastes, so we'll have, we've already had, some of the best Irish players in the world, some of the best old-time and traditional musicians in here. We've had bluesmen from New Orleans come up to our room, traveling and touring musicians that we can just kind of pick. They might be playing a huge venue, but then by way of just the connections that we have, we get them to come in here and just have a fantastic little small show. So guarantee very high quality music every time.
That sounds great. Absolutely. And so I know that you had mentioned you have some guitars here that were owned by some country music stars. Can you tell us some of the names that we might recognize?
One in particular that we have over there was a guitar that belonged to Chris Janson. He's
Sure.
a country musician. First big hit that he wrote was called "Buy Me a Boat," and kind of wrote the song on that guitar. And we're trying to get that back into his hands. When you have a guitar that you used a lot earlier in your career, and then you kind of make it big like he did, a lot of times there's some sentimental value to that. And so hopefully we can find a way to contact him and maybe work out a little deal to where we can get it back in his hands that. Maybe he can buy me a boat or something.
That's right.
One can dream, right?
That's right.
I mean, it sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just a couple other questions, gentlemen. Are you involved in the community in any way? What sort of things does Driftwood care about, so to speak?
We'll host some outdoor music parties. The first Fridays of every month, we do a little outdoor barbecue and music session. Everyone's welcome to come and play, bring an instrument, eat for free, and just have a good time. So it's kind of a neighborhood outreach type of thing. And the first Tuesday of every month, I host an open jam session here in the shop where everybody can come in. And we usually do a lot of old traditional music, but we're open to just about everything. So we're trying to make the space available for the community. If they have any musical interests, we're here for you.
Tell me about the availability you have and how people can reach you. Your website, your physical address, phone number, all of that good stuff.
Well, we are here at 1106 North 2nd Street in good old Frenchtown, St. Charles. You can always just walk right in the door. Our hours of operation are Monday by appointment only. Tuesday through Friday we run 10 to 6, and then Saturday we're 10 to 5, closed on Sundays. Our website is driftwoodmusicshop.com, and you can find us on Facebook as well. We tend to post most of our events and scheduling and stuff like that, and just little blurbs. We also do Instagram.
Very cool. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for talking with us today. It was an absolute pleasure.
Likewise. Yeah.
For Colin Blair and for Pete Buncher, I'm Travis Wilson. This has been Check Out St. Charles. Thank you for watching.